Welcome back to Apex Alchemy. This episode is a slash or pass episode. This is where we're gonna rate the knife out of parameters that we've come up for ourselves. Me and Courtney both combined. She's here. Say hi, Courtney.
Hey, everybody.
All right. So the slash or pass, we're gonna go over the fit and finish, the quality of the materials, the build construction, the comfort and the usability, the versatility, the value, and the overall score at the end. We'll both have our own score. Keeping that versatility to a man and a woman's perspective, maybe a larger hand and a smaller hand, however you want to look at it. But we're gonna rate those. We're gonna rate this knife on those parameters from a scale out of 1 to 10. We'll come up with our average at the end. Fit and finish. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
For the most part, the fit and finish, everything feels really well.
Okay.
The pocket clip would be the biggest, hot spot.
Okay.
In that to me. Everything else, is smooth. There's not any rattly parts. The edges are smoothed over, and you don't have any wobble, any play anywhere. It's solid.
Yeah, I agree. So what is your number?
Mine is an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. That's fair. Okay. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm not gonna be so hard on it because of the pocket clip really doesn't bother me that much. But like the fit and the finish, I'm looking at the quality of the smoothness and you know, like you said, you know, I'm sorry, the quality of I don't. You know, the finish, you know, and the fit, you know, like how everything fits together.
There's not any little rough edges.
There's
not
right.
anything that's poking you anywhere.
There's no blade wobble back and forth, side to side. When I close it, there's no blade wobble side to side. I like that. That's something that's very important to me. And it's not really very, very important to me. There's a lot of knives I love that you don't get that at, but that's like a security that whenever you see that. When it's closed, more than likely you're not going to have any issues when it's open, because there's a lot of knives out there that don't have any issues with that while the knife is open, but when you close it up you can move the blade from one side to the next. So I really feel like that speaks volumes on the fit part of this, you know, and this is using a pivot with huge phosphor bronze washers. It's a Chris Reeve-esque type pivot. It is smaller than a Sabenza pivot, but it's very good quality. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because of the overlays. I do feel like this is a blessing and a curse, you know, like for you. She might not be able to do it on camera, but she can reverse flip it. And a lot of times she can't reverse flip a knife because she's putting pressure on the lock bar. So I feel like that is a pro for...
Especially on the bigger knives, because where my fingers try to naturally land.
Fit and finish, man, I've heard so many people say, and I do not own a Chris Reeve, not yet. It's on the list, but it's, you know, I want an Nkosi or something to that extent. Probably a Tonto or an Insigno blade style. But I've heard a lot of people, a lot of good reviewers on YouTube talk about the fit and finish being that of a Chris Reeve knife. And if I put Chris Reeve at a 10 on production knives, at least, that I would say that if this is on par with Chris Reeve, I can't dock it any more than a 9, personally. But I definitely respect your 8. Quality of materials. Go ahead.
I did 9 out of 10 on this one.
Okay.
Mainly, my biggest factor on that is this was 2013
yes.
when these were being made.
Okay.
Before the S35N Crave, before that everything's getting put on. It's getting put on everything now.
Yeah. It is the most popular still being used now.
Now, whether people like that still or not, it didn't come into mass being used until more recently. So that would have been a more premium steel, I think, in 2013. The carbon fiber, that they didn't just put G10 on it.
No, and it is nice carbon fiber. I will give them that. Like it's not. It doesn't. Everybody's felt cheap carbon fiber, and this doesn't feel like
No,
cheap
it's
carbon
smooth.
fiber.
It's got that smooth, almost powdery feel.
Yeah, and sometimes you see carbon fiber's got voids in it, and like all carbon fiber has voids in it. You can't avoid it, but like sometimes you get voids that you can see with
They
the
look
naked
like
eye.
really, really big open pores.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes they look really bad, and this one, like even after all the years of use that this knife has seen and had, there's absolutely no flaws with the fit and finish of this carbon fiber. So I completely understand.
And the like, all the titanium and all is
It's still
yeah. Oh, is it steel?
no.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Titanium is still a very premium
Yeah.
material.
So, in my opinion, thinking of when this knife would have been manufactured, when they were producing these knives, I think they took into account quality materials.
You're absolutely right. I was looking at it as a 2023 knife. If it was coming out in 2023, there's definitely nothing wrong with carbon fiber and titanium. Those materials are still premium. S35VN still a premium still. If it was being made now, we could assume that it would at least be S45VN or Magna Cut. Spartan is making the change over to Magna Cut with their Harsey folders. And but the S45VN is definitely a premium still over S35VN, but we won't get too much into that. There's not a whole lot of differences really. But I'm giving it a score on quality of materials as of 8 out of 10. Of course, you like nowadays you got zirconium and stuff like that, and even in your custom realm, you had zirconium in 2013 as well. But it wasn't as widespread. And now you see a lot of companies sticking Zerk on a lot of knives, a lot of production knives now. Used to back in these days, this would have been a custom. It would have been a custom build that you would have probably had to get zirconium on. If I'm not correct about that, correct me in the comments. I don't remember a production knife having zirconium and like Damascus or what do they call that stuff, man? What's the other tie? I don't know. The crazy looking. I'll think of it later. But anyway, even those the Damascus and stuff like that, it's still titanium. So like I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 out of quality of materials. I don't. I'm perfectly happy with the materials they've chosen. Build construction. You want to go?
You can go ahead first on this one.
Build construction, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, and the reason why is because I have taken these scales off, and I see that it's probably overly complicated. Now, bear with me on the 8 out of 10. I don't feel like I'm really docking at points. All right, so when Curtis designed this knife, they designed the knife in a manner where each knife had to be fit and finished as if it was pretty much a custom knife. So that's what they did. They had to grind away to make sure all the parts fit. They weren't mass produced like several at a time or anything. They were making like batches of 10 or so, and they would work on those 10 to make sure they were all good. Some of them had problems, some of them came back, and that's the nature of the beast when it comes to hand fit. And I'm sure none of those knives left the shop intentionally with problems. But there were some examples and some samples out there that had blade wobble and lock rock and stuff like that.
And I'm sure finding replacement parts if something was to happen, if you needed something fixed on it, it'd probably be a lot harder to get those parts. I
would imagine that you would be completely right. So I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 on build construction, and it's really, it just boils down to it's not an easy knife to get apart. It's easy to get these scales off.
Everything
After
else.
that, like even this pocket clip is pretty complicated. I've got the right size Allen wrench. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong or what, but like they don't seem like it doesn't want to come apart.
And that was one of the things. Like I gave it a 8 out of 10, and the pocket clip being odd. and I guess hard to deal with in
Yeah.
a way was one of the issues. And to me, this is not the smoothest opening knife.
What?
It's not. I think I felt smoother pivots, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's not that it's bad, but it's almost like when I go to open it, it almost feels like kind of greedy to me. It's not,
Really?
yeah, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's not the smoothest
Okay.
knife I've opened.
I mean that's fine. That's fine. I'm like just as you and I are entitled to our own opinions and when it comes to rating a knife, all of our viewers are as well. So like I the more the more opinions we have on that, the better. I personally find this to be a very pleasurable knife to fidget with. Now, with that build construction, you mentioned something. What did you mention?
It was going to be in the versatility.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. We'll get past it.
It could go either way, really, on that. Yeah.
So, we both got our build construction out of the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comfort and usability. Go ahead.
All right. Comfort. Once again, that pocket clip is a hot spot.
For you, it's you feel
Yeah,
you feel it quite a
I
bit.
feel every bit of it.
Okay.
The usability, like the one method of deployment,
Okay.
I feel, in my opinion, hurts the usability some.
Okay.
If you're not good with thumb studs as your main opening mechanism, then that's all you got with this one. Other than that, so 7 out of 10, just because in a smaller hand you feel that pocket clip quite a bit. You can't change the pocket clip around, and only one method of deployment.
Okay. Whenever I was scoring this knife on versatility, I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I was scoring it on how versatile the blade was gonna be, and like
I was
how many
taking that
hands.
into account.
Okay.
Like, you should be able to do quite a bit with that blade shape.
Yeah, I mean it's a drop point, man. I mean it's it's gonna be your the drop point is got to be the most useful blade shape that's made. It's not the sexiest. It's not the it's not maybe not the coolest or whatever, but as far as versatility goes, the drop point definitely offers more versatility than any other blade shape in existence.
And probably sharpening too.
Yeah, more than likely.
Easier to sharpen.
Probably easier to sharpen. Yeah, I would say so. Now, but I do respect the points that you brought up. I mean, like the versatility as far as pocket clip goes, like you can't use it left-handed. I've even mentioned that before. So it's. For me, that's not an issue, but I would, I definitely understand.
Yeah, for me, it's not an issue either. I'm right-handed too, but.
And the multiple positions of opening, like I don't have a problem with the thumb studs, so it doesn't bother me at all. That thumb studs is all it has, and it actually does have believe it or not, this could have been one of the first front flippers.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. I like you got some jimp in here, and you got just a little bit that protrudes, so you
could
can
slow roll it open.
Yeah, you can slow roll it open from the front. So
okay.
And some people might be able to, flip it open. I cannot.
I suck at front flippers.
I'm not the world's greatest at front flippers either. But it's like I don't think it was actually intended to be a front flipper. But now that front flippers actually they exist, and I can't get it to work every time, but I've gotten it to work a few times. But yeah, it can slow roll as a front flipper. You just sit and practice with it for a little while. And like I said, some of you might be able to flip it open.
And I think we did kind of get off a little here. We were doing comfort and usability, right?
Yeah.
And then we started talking about versatility of the blade and stuff. I think that's we mixed those two in.
Oh, ouch. Okay, all right. So comfort and usability, she gave it a 7. I gave it an 8. Versatility. Go ahead.
I gave a 6 out of 10 on this one.
Okay.
Um, and I do feel it's because it's more leaned towards one type of knife person. This is where I also the versatility of the closing.
Yeah.
There's nothing protecting your finger. So if you're not paying attention, if you're in more of a fast pace, you flip it open one handed. You got to close it one handed. It's one of those that could easily quickly get you.
Yeah. I like. You would have to let the blade, and it's a very kind of like, since it has this very slight recurve going on with it at the very end of the blade here, beside the choil. You would have to. It will drop.
Yeah, because it did with me the very first time I messed with it when it came in the mail.
But like it's going to hit your fingernail if you're lucky, and so like I don't close it like that because like I'm not all about cutting up my fingernails.
Right.
But yeah, like I get that. I get that. You got this dead area right here. You don't have any kind of way to let it drop on your finger. So as far as fidgetability goes, the versatility kind of does go down there, and it loses a little bit of appeal. Okay, so versatility, she gave it a 6 out of 10. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Value. This knife costs $490 on the when it's new, and when it's used, you can expect to pay anywhere between $250. Well, I don't know where I've actually seen some on the secondary market for the asking price was almost as much, for like $450, and I'm not sure if that'll sell or not. You know how that goes, but like
the fewer they get out there still new, the more that's most likely going to go up. And if you don't know the few places that still have them available, and you're just looking on secondhand because it's not on the main dealers anymore,
right? But Arizona Custom Knives, as of the time of this recording, does still have a few available. So like, and the used price tends to be $250 to $275, which means like if you do buy one at a brand new price at $490,
it's going to deplete pretty quick.
Right. I bought mine at a used price, and I bought mine secondhand. So value for me specifically used for the price that I gave for it, which was less than $300, more than $250. So I'll leave it at that. And the value, I'm going to go with 7 out of 10, just because like if you buy it brand new, it does tend to have a trend of losing right at 40% of your value, which like 60%
or close to half. Depending.
Yeah, close to half depending. That's right. So I gave it a 7 out of 10 because I still feel like at $490, if you're not planning on selling it, that this knife will stand the test of time. As far as a collectability, a collector's piece. Like it wouldn't surprise me at all if we revisit this video in 10 years and we're laughing about these numbers. So value, I give it a 7 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Fair.
Like it is nice. It is made with good materials. Is it $500 nice to me? I don't know.
Yeah, there are knives that I would rather have at the $500 range.
Yeah.
Like I would rather have a plain Jane and Cosi, which can be picked up from Atlantic, knives for $505 just about any given day, and that is a large. It's plain Jane. It's just a titanium, but I would literally be okay with this being just thicker titanium and not
carbon fiber.
Not have to worry about any overlays. But there are pros for the overlays, which we've covered already. Don't have to worry about applying pressure, like bar away, reverse flicking, and stuff like that.
That was a plus for me.
Don't have to worry about dirt getting into your pivot and stuff like that because it's sealed up. But, or at least from this side, and it's not a flow through design necessarily. It kind of is dirt back here, right?
Which most of them, that's the case. So
yeah. But regardless, my overall score for it is 8 out of 10.
And mine is a 7.3 out of 10.
I think those are fair numbers. what do you think, man? Like, leave your comments below. Let us know what your overall score would be for the knife, and we will catch you on the flip side.